Coming up on this edition of Command Center Coach Commands with Ron Rivera.
Off his hands and caught. Derek Forrest gets his third interception of this season.
The Commanders leave Houston with their second win in a row, their fifth win in their last 6 games. We will talk with the head coach about what he has seen from his team in the victories. A big part of the winning formula has been the play of Washington's defense. They showed up big again last weekend in the win over the Texans. Coach will break down the game tape. And we are getting set for a return to FedExField tomorrow when the Atlanta Falcons fly into town. We'll get some insight into the game plan, and it's all coming your way right now.
You can't catch me today. You can't catch me today. Back to back.
Get a great deal on a Honda certified pre-owned vehicle. Peace of mind with incredible benefits. Finding the Honda you really want just got easier with Honda certified pre-owned. Hurry, see your local Honda dealer today.
Hey, it's a hell of a game. It's a hell of a game. A lot of good things, a lot of positive things, guys. But understand one thing: a little bit sloppy. We can be better. We got to be better. That's the truth of the matter. Understand who you guys are, who you're becoming. Becoming a hell of a football team. But the only way you can do that is pay attention to the detail. Understand how important the little things are. And when you get a chance to finish the game, finish it strong. Finish it strong. A lot of positive things, guys. We're gonna learn from these things. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Hey, as a team, I think we understand we didn't really finish the way we wanted to. Yeah. Defense, they had 9 yards in the first half, and they did all that in the second half. Yeah. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because when we win, sometimes it's hard to see the lesson because we're excited, and I don't want to dampen the mood, but we got to understand that first half we really show what we can do. Defense in the second half, we can't come out here and be sloppy, and I'll be the first one to admit I wasn't as focused as I should be. Offense, I know you guys are better than that in the red zone. And I'm not calling anybody out, I'm calling everybody out because we got to be better. We play like that on Monday night against the Eagles, we don't win that game. We know that. Good win, we're going to enjoy it. Let's refocus, you know what I mean? Let's not have to have a loss to get ourselves refocused.
Yes, all right, here we go. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3, team!
And welcome on in Julie Donaldson with head coach Ron Rivera. Okay, it's a win, but look, he's never satisfied. You don't want to leave any plays out there on the field, so still a lot of work to be done.
There really is, just because we started off, we were starting very well defensively. Offensively, we struggled a little bit. Got a little bit of rhythm going and played really well through the rest of the first half. Get into the second half, start a little bit slow, get some good ball movement, but again, we only kick a field goal. And one thing we got to be aware of is we get down the red zone 4 times, we only came away with 1 touchdown.
That's not going to always result in victories. But look, this is why the team is heading the direction that they're in, because we don't go easy. We want the absolute best on everything, which we're going to give you today in this show. Of course, we're getting into a conversation with Coach, and we have Logan Paulsen standing by to go over the film. I think there he is. Look at that. He's getting ready to give us his absolute best as well. Coach, we love those breakdowns because that's what it's all about, getting into the X's and the O's and executing the plays. Look, Sunday, though, it starts out with the touchdown on defense, and that kind of really set the tone, Kendall Fuller said, of just the way that it did. You being a defensive guy yourself, and you know the way the defense is playing, what does that say to the team when that's how you're starting out?
Well, what's interesting is if you think about the way they came out throwing the ball. Their first 2 plays were throws. Then they come back after the interception for a touchdown. Then they try to run the ball, and it's a 2-yard loss right off the bat. So they really did set the tone that this was going to be a physical and aggressive downhill game by our defense. Offensively, we struggled a little bit, but what we did was we started by trying to run the ball. So then our third series come out, we go play action, Terry runs the deep dig at about 16 yards, and Taylor hits him for the big completion. And what happens on that play, and I really appreciate it, was with the play action, their linebackers stepped up, which opened up the middle for Terry.
You know, a lot of times in these games, it seems like you're having to play catch up a little bit. You know, the team's behind, a little bit of a slow start. I don't know how many times I've had to ask you about how we can flip that. What does it do when you have the lead and you maintain it for what you want to do and how you want to call the game?
Well, on offense, you now have the entire playbook at your disposal. You can run play action, you can run a couple of gadgets, or you can throw it. And obviously our preference is run the ball, work some play action off it, run some of our gadget plays, like the one to Curtis on his touchdown run. The other thing that we can do defensively, you now have the attack mentality. You can, our guys pin their ears back, they go after the quarterback, which was exhibited by the 5 sacks that we had for sure, and several harassments of their quarterback.
It was fun to watch and to call. Taylor Heineke, the way that he's playing is exactly that's the reaction that I think everybody has. It might not be necessarily everything that you want. It might not necessarily always be pretty, but we are seeing the play of the team, offense and defense. We even hear the defensive guys saying that they step up differently. What is it about him and what he brings that has this team responding the way that they are?
Well, I think a lot of it goes back to 2020 when we brought him in during our playoff run. And when he got his opportunity, the way he plays with his hair on fire. He plays with this zest that, hey, all I need is a chance. And I think that comes back from his underdog mentality, but he does such a great job with it that it becomes infectious. And when you see him making plays happen, you see him giving it his all, he gets his guys going around him. Hey, we can do that if he can do that.
One of his biggest cheerleaders would be Chase Young. The Heineke, it's famous and it's got everybody chanting his name when he goes out there. Chase this week activated to the 53-man roster. We know it doesn't necessarily mean he will be out there playing, but what does it mean in the progress and what we can expect from him?
Well, as he continues to progress, and again, it gives us an opportunity to really see where he is. He's going to do even more in practice. And once we feel he's ready to go and he feels confident, we'll put him out on the field. We'll give him an opportunity. What it means is we'll have a pitch count. We'll bring him along gradually. We've got to be smart about this. We're playing real good defense right now as a unit, and add another valuable piece could even help us to make things better.
You don't really need to rush him back either, the way that this defense has been playing, especially that defensive line. You mentioned the 5 sacks and the quarterback, but they're not letting anybody run.
Yes.
Nobody seems to be able to do anything on the ground against you, and now you're going up against a team that is their strength.
Yes.
How much do you relish your power versus their power, strength versus strength going up against each other?
I think it's going to be a very good football game just because of that, because it is going to be strength against strength. And one of the things that you really see is that they do run the ball very well. Arthur Smith was the architect basically of the Tennessee Titans offensive running game. So he gets the opportunity at Atlanta, and what's he done? He's brought that running game there. They've got some good, big physical offensive linemen that can be a real good challenge for our guys. I like our opportunity to challenge them.
Momentum, how much does that factor into this for you?
I think it's very big. I really do, because again, we've done some positive things. We're building off of those positive things, and it's an opportunity to take another step. So like I said, this is a real good challenge, and I'm excited about this football game.
While Coach heads over to the film room, let's dial in on the Commanders' defense. The unit got the scoring started last Sunday when Kendall Fuller snagged a pick 6, taking the Davis Mills pass to the house. Derek Forrest added a big pick late in the game, and while the defensive front was getting after the Texans, putting the pressure on and stifling the rushing attack, Jack Del Rio's group has played a huge role in this hot streak that we have been riding. So let's take a look at the numbers the D put up in the win. Washington held the Texans to just 148 total yards, the second fewest allowed in a game under head coach Ron Rivera. And in the first half, the team only allowed 5 total yards, making it the fewest allowed in the first half by any team this season. Let's now go into the film room presented by Mavenspire. Ransomware goes 3 and out with Mavenspire's Smart as a Service cybersecurity offerings. Learn more at mavenspire.com. Logan and Coach, take it away.
Coach, so awesome being here talking to you about this game against Houston because so many people did so many good things. Let's start off with our guy Kendall Fuller. I just love this. I mean, it's the interception. You get a little speed out here, and you guys are playing kind of some zone Y match concept here in your cover 3, and I love how he's able to play with vision through the receiver to the quarterback, see him get to the step of his drop, and then make a break on the ball.
Well, the nice thing about this, and everything works in Kendall's favor, first of all, as you said, he's got outside leverage on the number 1 wide receiver. Secondly, the quarterback is on the far hash.
I see, yep.
So now that gives Kendall even more time to react to the ball that's being thrown to the flat. So again, Kendall does a great job. He keeps himself in position where he's seeing through the receiver to the quarterback because it's a long throw from the far hash. Kendall's able to time it up, undercut the throw, and make the play and go the distance.
Yeah, that's tough, man. He's got great ball skills, and his first touchdown, right, in his NFL career. That's always fun to get, and like how guys are celebrating with him, and it was in a big moment. The other guy who had an excellent game was your guy, I mean, every week I feel like we're talking about John Allen, right? And the thing I love about this setup here is you're able to get one-on-ones, right? You've got guys in gaps. You keep Jamin over here. You got 5 guys in the rush so that no one can help this young man with the slide. And Kenyon Green, I liked him coming out, but he's been having a tough go, and it didn't get much easier when he's going against John.
Well, he's a young guy, and again, he's going against one of the best in the league right now. And the nice thing is Jonathan just set him up for the bull rush.
Yeah.
But what really helps make this play is if you look at how the defensive ends get vertical and upfield right away. Okay, what Duran does, he steps into the double team, so he's now occupying the center and guard, so the center can't go help on Jonathan. The back really is kind of eyeballing, looking for somebody else to blitz, and nobody else is blitzing, so really there's a wasted man. So all we do is we go ahead and get the outside edge guy guys up.
Yep.
The quarterback can't go right or left, and he's got to step into the bull rush.
And I'm really glad you pointed that out, because a lot of people say, oh, John did all this, but really the context of the rush
Right.
and it was a big part of that, which is awesome.
Yeah, and the big thing again is we always tell our guys, get to the level, our ends,
Yes.
and bend it in. That way the quarterback can't get out one way or the
Right.
other. Now he's got to step up. And again, Jonathan does his job. Great job by Duran absorbing the two.
Yeah.
And then again, good job by Jamin with vision on the back as he tries to sneak out.
And no one wants to step up into these two meat grinders in here, John and Allen. But I also think, John and Payne, excuse me. I think the other thing here is interesting is everyone sees John here, and rightfully so. He had an excellent game. But what they don't see is the coverage on the back end,
Yes.
right? There is nowhere to go with this football. This looks like some type of cover two man. I can't really tell. You got the two safeties back here, but you got guys matching. You got matched up. And even if he wanted to throw the football,
Yes.
Coach, there's not a lot of space for him to go with the ball.
Right, and that's probably one of the biggest things that has helped us in this coverage. In this situation, again, we give the too high shell. Okay, are we playing cover two, or are we playing some form of match? And
Yeah.
right now we're playing match.
Okay.
Everybody's got a man match, and what happens on that is that they know they've got help over the top.
Right.
So they're going to be very aggressive underneath.
Yep.
Okay, they're going to play with their vision. And then again, now they've got to try and find somebody. They don't have time.
Yes, I love it. And just awesome to see the groups playing together. They're supporting each other. And then this is maybe one of the coolest plays of the day, right? You get all verticals here on this side of the field. Benjamin Cheju stays in excellent phase with the quarterback. I love our guy Forrest in the middle of the field, opening but not being overly aggressive. And again, this is one of the best plays of the season.
Well, and what this shows you too is just how smart this young man's becoming. Again, quarterback's on the far left hash.
Yep.
Okay. The two verticals to the upside of the field.
Yep.
Okay, to our defensive left.
Yep.
Are long throws.
Right.
So what happens now is because he has started on that side, he can work with a crossover, vision to the quarterback,
Yep.
hips already open to the side that we're anticipating the vertical.
Yep.
Okay.
Awesome.
And
That's
watch
great.
how he gets into phase and gets vertical and gets across, and because the ball's tipped, he's there to make the play.
And just run into the football. Nothing bad happens, Coach, when you run into the football. Now, we're going to skip the end zone here because I want to talk about one of my favorite plays from the game, and it was very benign. Nothing really crazy happened here. Little screen, right? But, Coach, I love how people are running to the football. We got guys on the ground getting up, running the football, and you said something to me which I didn't notice, is there are a bunch of people in this shot by the end of the play.
Well, if you look at it, we've got 10 out of our 11 guys there.
Yep.
10 guys rallying around the football. One guy getting ready just in case the ball bounces.
Yep.
Keeps his vision on the play.
But that's got to make you excited when you see that.
It
type
does.
of thing.
And really the beauty of it is you look at it, there is 7 of their guys standing around
Yeah.
for the most part. Okay. We've got 10 guys wrapped around their running back.
Yeah, love that, Coach. And you're going to need that against Atlanta this week.
Yes.
Always a pleasure talking to you, Coach. Thanks.
Do not go away, because when we come back, Coach and Logan are reviewing some of the Falcons game tape. Finding a way to contain Cordero Patterson will be a big part of the game plan. And it's going to be a big day at FedExField for the team as they unveil a permanent memorial for Sean Taylor at the stadium. We will talk about that a little later on in Command Center. Coach Commands with Ron Rivera, presented by your local Honda dealer. Welcome back. It is time for some healthy competition presented by Ortho Virginia, the official orthopedic and sports medicine partner of the Washington Commanders. Here's a look at how these teams stack up on paper. The last time Atlanta was here in Washington was 2018, and they're back trying to reach the 500 mark for the 4th time this season. They're also just a game behind the Commanders in the NFC playoff picture. It should be a pretty good matchup tomorrow afternoon at FedExField as Atlanta comes into town after a 3-point victory over the Chicago Bears. Now, Arthur Smith has his team playing pretty solid on offense and defense this season. So, how does Washington counter against that? Well, Coach and Logan are in Coach's office. This is the Rivera Review, presented by DC Prime. All stakes are not created equal.
Coach, hope you had a nice Thanksgiving, but now we got to think about some football on Sunday, which is always a good thing to do. Atlanta Falcons coming to town. Very kind of unique team, very similar to Washington, I think. And, in terms of what they do defensively, I was a little surprised. I thought I'd see a lot more blitzing than they do. It's not like they don't blitz, but they play a little bit soft coverage, and they kind of want to keep everything in front of them. How important is it for Taylor to understand, when he's getting this cover 2 structure, he needs to be patient.
He does have to be patient. That's probably the biggest key. He's got to understand that, what he has. If you look at what they show right now, they're showing you they're playing some form of cover 2 or quarters. So he's looking down, he's trying to read him, get his initial keys, and then go from there.
Yeah.
I mean, again, one of the things that Coach Pease is trying to do is really stop the run with a 7-man box.
Yeah.
And at the same time be able to keep a lid over the top of the ball so they don't give up a lot of explosives, and be very sound defensively too as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And like when you're playing a team that runs a lot of cover 2, like what kind of difficulties does that present in the pass game?
Well, the biggest thing more than anything else is it's structured so that it can slow down the quick passing game.
Right.
Because great example at the top, they're running dragon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is a slant and a flat.
Right. So basically, as long as these guys get their keys, get their reads, and sink into the position they're supposed to, you're going to throw away. You're going to take away those quick throwing lanes.
Yeah.
And here's a good example. And, this could be a better pass. It's going to be completed if it's up a little bit. But again, if this linebacker on the left side of the defense, if he understands that this is a 3-step throw, he should be working flat down the line. Where at the top you see the nickel. See how he flattens out and stays low.
Yeah.
Okay. Absolutely. So again, understanding what they're trying to do and how they're trying to do it will dictate where he's got to throw the ball.
Absolutely. And that's one thing about cover 2 is you get these 5 underneath coverage players, to your point, and the 2 guys deep. And then they kind of get in that weird middle ground because they got the Tampa player too, right? So again, very straightforward, but they do have wrinkles off of their base coverage structure, right? And so the next play here I think is really cool. I think it's interesting because you don't see a lot of teams do this very well, but this is the same coverage, but it's a cover 2 invert, I would call it, with a pressure, which is very hard to run here. And how important is that Taylor identifies this, and when they get this, not making a bad throw here?
Right. Well, what this is to a degree is what we used to call bombers. Basically, everybody's blitzing up inside. Okay. They got both 3 techniques are going straight ahead.
Yep.
Okay. Both ends are folding into the A gaps, and they're trying to open up the crease for the other linebacker to come free through the middle. Okay?
Right.
If you can bottle it up and then recognize what the coverage is, you have a chance to be explosive right here. But again, obviously they haven't figured it out, and they're not completing the routes the way they need to.
Right.
Again, Jimmy's just got to be patient because he's got an opportunity here to throw the drag at the top.
Yes, and that's really interesting because we used to call this, hey, diddle, 3 up the middle, but they're getting to it without having to bring extra guys in coverage, right? They're using their defensive ends to kind of get the mismatch inside, which is really interesting. And then again, this inverted coverage, you can tell it kind of confuses Jimmy here because he's like, I expect guys to be in certain spots, but they're not, right? And so when Taylor sees this, again, I think he's got to just, like you said, be patient, trust his protection, and not make a bad throw here.
Right, exactly, because again, you're going to have one of your underneath guys coming free. Right. Because of all the angles that are being created. You're going to get a matchup right here that should be favorable, and that's you've got a wide receiver on a linebacker. Right. Okay, so understanding that's really where he should be thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, if this receiver kind of completes this route or runs through this zone, that's a big play. So just doing what you're supposed to do and being patient at the quarterback position, absolutely. And so then offensively, I think they do some really nothing overly complicated, right? They're going to come out, they're going to try and punch you in the face, and they're going to hope that Cordell Patterson can give you a big play off an outside zone action. Right. So how do you contain a person with that skill set and a group that's got this kind of this identity so well established?
Well, the biggest thing is you have to have vertical edges. Okay. One thing you have to do is you cannot allow that ball to bounce outside as quickly as it does. If you got vertical edges and you set them, that ball has to bounce. It doesn't go directly to where you want.
Can you explain vertical edge real quick?
Well, vertical edge really is your outside guys on your defensive line get vertical and they set. They don't run sideways because that's what they want you to do when they're running inside and outside zones. They want you going sideways because that creates huge creases, especially on the backside for cutback.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what you see here, right? Is you see, again, they're canning the run probably versus safety rotation, right? Because to me, Seattle's doing the right thing. They're in a 7-man box. They know they got to stop the run, but Atlanta's able to get into an advantageous look, and that's the beauty of outside zone is the back can make you right, and he does here because the outside end, like you're saying, is getting vertical but not containing the gap.
But he's not setting the edge either.
On game days, do not miss Command Center Game Day Live, the official pregame show of the Washington Commanders. We're live on the air starting 2 hours before kickoff. That is 11 a.m. tomorrow. You can watch on our YouTube channel, Facebook, and Twitter. And after the game, do not miss Command Center postgame live for reaction analysis and interviews with head coach Ron Rivera. You can also find that on YouTube. Take command of your game days. When we come back, Coach will be back here with me in studio. We'll talk about the key to getting a win over the Falcons and look back at Sean Taylor's winning legacy here in Washington. This is Command Center, Coach Commands with Ron Rivera, presented by your local Honda dealer. Welcome back to Command Center. Coach Commands, the Commanders are coming back to FedExField this Sunday, and it is time for you to get your tickets. Join us pregame at 11:45 a.m. on the concourse at Section 132 for the unveiling of the Sean Taylor Memorial Installation. Then head over to commanders.com, make sure /tickets to get your tickets today so you don't miss out. It is time now for a winning legacy presented by the Maryland Lottery. Play fast, win fast with new Fast Play games from the Maryland Lottery. And this week we are flashing back to November 26, 2006. Washington taking on the Carolina Panthers up 17-13 late in the fourth quarter when Sean Taylor picks off Jake Delhomme to seal the win. It would be the only pick for number 21 that season, one of 12 during his career. We are honoring Sean Taylor at tomorrow's game, unveiling a memorial at FedEx Field before kickoff. Look, Coach, he means so much to this franchise. And I know there's a lot of players even on your team now that want to model their game after Sean Taylor and the way that just he approached it. What do you make, though, of the permanent installation for those that loved him to be able to go by and kind of pay their respects?
Well, I think it's important because there's a tremendous legacy that this organization has with so many great players, so many great Hall of Famers. And, you know, here's a young man whose career started out like it was on fire and he was heading in the right direction. And this tragedy. I mean, he was taken from us way too soon, and he could have truly built an even greater legacy.
It's amazing. Again, I know a lot of guys want to be like that. It's the mindset, that aggressive nature. Your defense is starting to really kind of get that mindset and that aggressiveness. What would you say the identity of your team is right now?
Well, I think, you know, as a offense, the idea and the attitude is, hey, we're going to run the football, we're going to be physical, we're going to go downhill. When you think about our defense, you look at it, and I think what Jack and his staff has done getting these guys to understand just how important it is to attack, have that kind of mentality, and then when opportunities come, you know, you make your plays, and they're starting to get it, they're starting to come together, and they've done such a good job that, you know, to me, again, it's about being aggressive and attacking.
And one of the things we're seeing as well is how the team plays for each other, and that equals success, and hopefully success on Sunday as well. Thank you, Coach Rivera, and thank you all for watching.